All right. Is my mic loud enough? Okay, just let me know because I don't know. So if you hear me or you don't hear me, I'm gonna annoy everyone on Discord now with an at everyone. Send. Bada beam, bada boom. Okay. Wow, we have one like. That's crazy. Yo, Pale Rider. Let me know if my mic is too loud or not loud enough. Because I honestly don't know. We have 10 people watching. Hi. Ojina. Hi. Ardi. Jan. Pre. Kui. Hi. Anthony Chan. Thanks for helping me pass the time while I wait for class. Of course. Pale Rider, you said it's perfect. Thank you. Last time I did a stream, the audio was clipping a bit. It was like, so if there's anything like that, let me know and then I can change it. Just check my local target. Nothing but a few Dawn of Majesty and some structure decks. Well, I guess Yu-Gi-Oh is very popular, so that's good, but sad that it hasn't been restocked yet. Okay, so if you have any questions about anything, pop it in the comments down below. Um, whether it's Yu-Gi-Oh or stocks or crypto or the gym, which I haven't done in like 2 weeks. I'm fading away. Business, I don't know, whatever. Thoughts on long-term investment on PSA 4 Unlim reprint beta? Yeah. To the moon. Where is your mask? My mask? What? Is the Rush Duel DM girl a good buy? I like her. Like I think it's a cool card, but as with game promos and everything like modern right now, everyone is already grading them, hoarding them, keeping them in great condition. There's also plenty being made. So like a good buy, I mean, maybe it's a cool collector's card, but will the supply of minty cards outweigh that demand longer term? I would think so, but I don't know. It's tough to say. It also depends on how much Rush Duel keeps going. Because if you think about it, let's say the supply is not big enough, but the demand is the demand. Let's talk about that, right? But like the supply is not big enough for some reason, they all got destroyed or a flood happened. I don't know. Let's say the supply is not your worry. It's very possible that Rush Duel fails, just like Speed Duel kind of did, except for, that one cool box and the GX box coming now. But in general, people just don't care about Speed Duel. And so now Rush Duel is like their new thing, right? And they're trying this out. What if Rush Duel fails? It's very possible that Rush Duel cards then end up fading into obscurity because they're not the real Yu-Gi-Oh! And then they also fail to catch on. So that's another risk you gotta like calculate in there. But I do really like the card. Let's see. What's the best deck at the moment, in your opinion? I don't know if you're up to date on the meta. So I know Try Whatever the Hell got nuked because of, was it the Searcher, like the Beast Warrior Searcher? So now it's like wide open. I honestly have no idea. It might be Dragon Link, unironically, but I'm not enough of a meta modern player to know. Thoughts on Flundery's name change? What the hell? I don't know. um, Jimmy Ha, you think the uncensored Lost Art Gemini Elf is a good hold? I mean, I'm not a fan of telling people, "Oh, you should hold this, you should sell this, you should buy this." Like, I'm not interested in being a crypto YouTuber, but for Yu-Gi-Oh, that's just not my style. But again, it's modern AF, and the Gemini Elf fan pool is so much smaller than the Dark Magician Girl fan pool. You say that the print quality is good, so that's also not helping from a collectability standpoint. Ironically enough, I don't think you will be able to recreate the Lost Art Dark Magician Girl craze with any Lost Art. I would be very surprised. Um, I made a small bit of money doing crypto, and then I remember Yu-Gi-Oh! My childhood and collected not to sell, but to keep some good cards. Cool. Enjoy. She's the first uncensored version of the card. Yeah, but you can say the same for literally every Lost Art, right? That's the point. So I don't think Gemini Elf being uncensored is as big of a deal as Dark Magician Girl. Um, but maybe that's just me. What do you think of MetaZoo? It's not for me. I don't like the art at all. Um, I don't know. It feels very pump and dumpy right now. I hope the game does well because I just like to see entrepreneurship thrive. But I don't know. It's not for me, and I don't like how modern day TCGs are first being pumped as a equity, as a speculative investment or something like that, and then afterwards it's like, oh yeah, it's also a game. So I don't know. Not really a big fan of that. Fab kind of has the same issue. Of course, it has like a bunch of players, and partially because of Tolarian Community College, partially of Alpha Investments, though Alpha Investments mostly created, the speculative behavior. So I don't know. I would have liked to see more organic interest rather than this very, very pump and dumpish vibe. But again, it's not necessarily from the creators' standpoint. I don't know enough about that. It's just what I see from the influencers around it. Um, let's see. Do you got a platinum blue eyes? No, I had plenty of time to buy it. Like over here in Europe, you had hours. In America, I know it like the site crashed, bada bing, bada boom, they were all gone. In Europe, you had like hours and hours and hours. I should have probably just bought it to flip. It was the best flip you could have made. Um, but I don't know. I didn't have the time. Also, I don't know how big the demand is for the European ones from the US audience because in the end it's the US audience mostly buying these. So I don't know. I should have probably just bought it to flip, but alas. That rush rarity looks sick. Yes, I agree. I really like how it looks. And what do you think of the new Dark Magician design, the one that looks like the old Bandai design? I thought it was really cool. I think it was a cool way to play in the nostalgia and promote that product. Good. Do you think the value of Starlight rares will be times 2 to 4 in the next 10 years? So two problems with that question. I don't have a crystal ball, and I'm not into go buy this and then it'll 2x and it'll do this and it'll do that, blah, 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 go XRP to the moon, ADA. Like I'm not into that. Like if you like the card, buy the card. If you want to speculate on it, cool. But like I'm not gonna hold your hand. Um, but I've also already talked about the fact that I'm not into Starlight and collector rares. There's a few that are cool, but whether they'll 2x or 4x or whatever really depends on how iconic they actually are, and I don't think they're very. I was asking because I was hoping that she would be cheap. I think Gemini Elf will be plenty cheap. Are you going to buy the Kaiba Ultimate set? Yes, probably. It's very possible that my girlfriend will actually be in Japan around release, so that will be a very easy way to get access to it. I'm seeing a lot of people doing like these crazy pre-sales and upcharging like 4x, even though the pre-order window at the time wasn't open and crazy stuff like that. So I'm not intending to go through some vendor who's trying to make insane profits. If I can get it straight from the source, I will. Otherwise, I don't care that much either. I checked BSA pop report for Starlight PSA 10s. Not much out there. You think it's because of the bad printing? Why is it so little intense? Because no one sent them in. Starlight rares, the grading craze for Yu-Gi-Oh started. Obviously the first waves and so forth were 2016ish is when people started doing it. When you had Old School Expert and Vintage Yu-Gi-Oh and all these people, and then 2017 and 2018 and so forth. But then the real bump was late 2020. And so anyone who value subbed a lot of these cards, because again, most Starlights weren't expensive enough to warrant Express, they're still in the backlog. And then also, they're just not that wanted. Like most Starlights are wanted by players or player collectors, and very few are wanted by the old school collectors, the high end collectors, the vintage collectors. And so the PSA 10 pop is simply low because people weren't mass subbing them in. Now, of course, in 2020, late 2020, maybe they started because people start subbing literally anything, but those would still be waiting in the backlog. Overall, I do not believe the print quality is bad. I just think they were barely subbed. How do you feel about Lost Arts? I like Lost Art Dark Magician Girl. I like Lost Art Monster Reborn. Um, which other ones? I like Lost Art Burstinatrix. but investment wise, they are too plentiful. Though there's an argument for them being so badly printed that maybe PSA 10s have something interesting going on. What's up, Stubbski? The only thing that would cause a craze as big as Lost Art Dark Magician Girl would be an uncensored version of the MFC Dark Magician Girl. Yes, it would. Most people in the EU didn't know it was going up for sale. I know 3 people who didn't even know about it. I knew about it. I didn't know about others. You could follow it pretty easily. Honestly, the Platinum Blue Eyes is ugly, at least to me. I made a big pass on it. Oh, yeah, I don't think it looks good at all, honestly. I like the frame and the presentation and so forth, but when you just look at the card itself, it's super, like, tame, dull. I don't know. I would have literally bought to flip. At first, I was actually going to buy 2, keep 1, flip the other for profit. And then when I saw what it actually looked like, I would have flipped both. Do you play IRL? If you do, how do you manage collecting and playing at the same time? I kind of play IRL. Like I have 1 goat format deck and enough cards to build a second, but it's mostly like stuff that I put into that goat format deck. So like my 1 goat format deck can be changed into a zombie or into a chaos and so forth. Um, and then I also have modern stuff. So I have enough cores to build decks. So I have Cyber Dragon. I used to have Eldritch, but that's gone. I have Zombie Synchro. I have Toon, which is dog shit. But I'm not a big time modern player or anything like that. When it comes to actually playing playing card games, I actually play Cardfight Vanguard way more. So I'm mostly collector. I would say I'm 95% collector, 5% player. MRL Hungry Burger to the Moon. That's true. That's true. I have 1 being graded, but it's actually not that great condition. I'm basically hoping that they miss the damage and I get a 10, and otherwise it's just a cool meme. I got it from a viewer, so it's a really cool card. Dual monsters or nothing. It's not that easy. There's cool GX cards out there. Like I've got Judgment Dragon right here, which is one of my favorites from GX. I have Tour Guide, which is not a GX card, but I'm a dark fan, and this card is like so insane in literally every dark deck. I've got Necroface here. This one's actually for sale. The other 2 aren't, but this one's for sale if anyone's interested. So it's not just dual monsters for me, honestly. Thoughts about where the Yu-Gi-Oh market is right now? I see a lot of people trying to sell. There's always people trying to sell. Right now, we are in somewhat of a downturn, as predicted, and I never try to predict when, but it was very obvious beginning 2021 that we were entering in like way too euphoric times, and that's also why I was constantly warning, like, guys, be rational here, like don't overextend yourself because some of this stuff is going too high, too quickly, actually. Too high too quickly, yeah. So now, yeah, now we're in somewhat of a downtrend, which is fine. I hope you didn't overexpose yourself at a peak and go like balls deep and FOMOing and so forth. But if you watched my channel enough, you probably didn't. But as for a lot of people trying to sell, like, it's not like we have this massive amount of people, oh, sell, 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 sell. Like, there's always people selling. I see that argument sometimes on the Discord as well. If you're not on the Discord, by the way, link in the description, join the Discord. We have a lot of market talks there. Um, But yeah, there's not more selling than usual, unless you're a Platinum Blue Eyes owner. Like, those are dozens for sale on Facebook 24/7. It's crazy. Have you heard of the $300 Kaiba briefcase? Yes, we've talked about it before. I'm interested. Starlight rares are overhyped. Uh, I don't know about overhyped. I just don't think they're like investable. Which current Yu-Gi-Oh set do you like right now? I mean, the tins for players, getting the reprints that we have been waiting for so long is just really good. In terms of box art, I like the Brothers of whatever the hell, the little Karibo guys. I really want a case with the Karibo guys in, just because it's a really nice looking set. I don't even know what's in it. It's just the nicest box I've seen in years. Do you still play the actual game? Yes, like I said, I've got Cyber Dragons, Toons, Zombies, mostly tier 2 and 3 stuff. Um, that Plaid Blue Eyes was such a scam. I don't know about scam. I think they were aware, like, hey, There's collectible euphoria right now. Let's cash in on that. Ka-ching. Then people who were, onto it quickly bought and flipped, made some tendies. But I don't know about the long term viability of it. We'll see. Any idea when PSA will return to their regular prices, if ever? I don't. What's regular price? PSA has been upping their price every year since I remember. Like every year, it's like, oh, we were at 10, and then 15, and 20, and then so it was always going up. Just usually the up was slower. I think we'll go back. I don't know. Maybe regular will go back to 30 or something. Maybe 25. I don't see them ever going back to 12 or something like that. What's good, my financial advisor? Yeah, I don't think so. I am one of these rare unicorns that actually really love Starlight Rares, but I can testify that Starlight Rare print quality is horrendous, at least for NA copies. The scratching is intense. I'm sorry. Um, I mean, if you like them, that's cool. Do you have any NFTs? No. I dabbled in them to just see what it's about, learn the tech, but I don't own any currently. What's your sentiment toward the collector Tin Dark Magician Girl? I actually bought one recently, I mean last year, and it's currently being graded. So I could say like, "Oh, to the moon, buy mine." I like it as a collector, but I think there's actually a lot out there. So, be careful around it when you're speculating on it. But it's a cool card. I really, really like the way it looks. Machine King still stonks. I bought like 100. Machine King is forever stonks, don't you know? Have you thought about picking up the Ultimate Kaiba set? Yes, I have. In Japan itself, not at the ridiculous upcharge prices I'm seeing on Instagram. What do you think about PSA 9 for investing? Too general of a question. Some PSA 9s I like, others I don't. I think we're going to enter an era where um, a lot of nines will be relatively plentiful. But I also think that means there's a lot of opportunity for them. But it again depends on the card. PSA 9 from Duelist Pack Kaiba, fuck that shit. PSA 9 from LOB, yes, gladly. So, and even then it depends, Man Eater, Bug, and Red Eyes aren't the same card. Like, okay, look at this. Look at this, baby. There's a BGS 9 LOB First Edition Red Eyes. I would love to cross it because the only bad grade it has is the centering, and the centering is honestly not that bad. So I hope to get a PSA 9 or even 10, maybe. We'll see. Red Eyes, this would be a 9, right? So if I give you my opinion on PSA 9, let's say this is PSA for now, BGS 9, whatever. This card, and do I have anything? This card and this card are not the same. They're not even close. So you can't just talk about PSA 9. You need to talk about sets. Where did the card come from? What was its actual rarity over condition rarity? What's its actual demand behind it, and so forth. What do you play bass and guitar? What kind of music do you learn? I play bass and guitar, yes. So these are 3 basses that you see here, and off screen you have guitars. Oh, this might actually be pretty cool. So this is a custom Aristides, and on the neck inlay, on the neck inlay you have a blue eyes white dragon. It's literally in there. They custom made that for me. So yeah, that's my favorite guitar essentially. Okay. Yeah, I mostly play metal. One sec. I gotta scroll up. So yeah, it's all metal. I've also got songs on YouTube if you want to check it out. Maxim Solemn, Breathe Fire, Maxim Solemn, Melody of Death, Maxim Solemn YuGiOh. I've made the opening theme song, Maxim Solemn Toon World. I've covered the Toon World theme of Pegasus in metal, and actually the original composer of Toon World, who wrote like the original one that we hear in the anime, also heard it and loved it. He signed my Toon World as well, so that was really cool. Is it PSA 10 or bust? No. Do you still think Flesh and Blood is in a bubble? Over 1,000 people attended the calling in Vegas a few weeks ago, and first editions are at all-time highs. I think all collectibles are in some sort of bubble, but I never claimed Flesh and Blood specifically. I just think that There's a very big difference between people playing it and enjoying themselves and people speculating on first editions. And like, it doesn't matter that there's so many people playing. Like, that's a good thing. That could at least mean that there's some proper fundamentals longer term for it. But if your first editions shot into those sky high prices from the start without any history towards them, you should still be worried, even if you have players. But I love that there were so many players. I hope it does well. Um, it's like it's a properly ran card game from what I can see, and that's good. That's really good. But that doesn't mean you should be paying $10,000 for one of the boxes. Those things are not tied directly. Passively, they are. Do you think Yu-Gi-Oh market is now cooling down or going up? It's currently cooling down. I don't know if it'll keep cooling down, but it's currently cooling down. I've always wondered, what does MIDI mean? MIDI is note information. You can't see it, but there's a keyboard here. And so essentially, you can play notes, and then those notes are put into a MIDI file. And then that can be turned into any instrument you want, assuming that you have a sampler or, well, software, let's say, that can read that MIDI information. So my company Solemn Tones creates samplers for rock and metal musicians and producers and studios based on MIDI. So when I say MIDI over you, I'm essentially saying, hey, my fake bass and fake guitar plays better than you do. That's what it comes down to. Maximum Gold Blue Eyes finally died. Did it? I haven't seen the prices, so no idea. Um, Holy hell. I totally missed. Is Toon World First Ed good to get rid of it if it's in really good condition? Yes, but not at these prices though. Like currently, Toon World First Ed Raw is, I don't know, it's not that high. And your grading cost is still like 150. So there's no way to justify grading a Toon World right now. Many TCG prices went down. Is that happening to Yu-Gi-Oh? Yes. Not as harshly though. That's pretty interesting to me. Like the retrace on Pokemon was devastating. Like if you bought peak hype Pokemon, you've already lost like 70 to 80%, except for a few items. Whereas on Yu-Gi-Oh, you've lost, I want to say 30, maybe 20%. Um, and there's also a lot of items that held and are still like breaking all-time highs. And I don't know where that's going. All I'm seeing is that overall Yu-Gi-Oh has been pretty strong. It hasn't crashed quite to the same extent. What's your job? I run a business. Solemn Tones. What do you think about the Rush Duel promos? They're cool. Hello from South Africa. What's up? Chances that alternative formats Goat Edison will see support like Commander did in MTG. I think the problem is that Commander can actively make Wizards money because Commander can still get new cards. Goat cannot unless they fundamentally change what Goat means. So if Yu-Gi-Oh wanted to make money of Goat, they could make some sets, high rarity Goat decks or something like that. Sure. But that's a one and done type of deal. They can't keep on making money of Goat that easily because there's no new product that you can actually push. Whereas with a Commander, you can. So unless people are open to the idea of a Goat format where they do print new cards, I don't see it happening. I enjoy watching your channel. Thank you so much. Question: is Yu-Gi-Oh worthwhile investment? That's what kind of question is that? Like, no offense to you, maybe you're new to the channel or so forth, but I think Yu-Gi-Oh is a cool speculation. I like these cards. I'm gonna keep on flexing, baby. I like these cards. These are really cool. These are part of my childhood. I think these are part of so many people's childhood that they will probably the coming 5-10 years be higher than they are now. That is my assumption. That does not necessarily make them an investment. They are a speculation, and I use the word investment on the channel because that's what gets clicks on YouTube. If you say Yu-Gi-Oh speculating, half the people don't even know what speculating means. So you use investing, but it's not the proper word. And again, worthwhile right now, shit's going bit down. Is that worthwhile? Maybe it is an opportunity, or maybe it is not. I don't know. Just make sure that you have a emergency fund, that you have real assets, that you are doing prudent financial moves that don't jeopardize your future. And then consider, hey, I also like cards. I'm going to play in this a bit. I'm going to speculate in this a bit. Enjoy the art for what it is, but don't look at this like a crypto Ponzi scheme type of deal. DPKB Blue Eyes is underrated. Could be. I don't know enough about that set. I know you have Crush card in there. Is that Crush card? Dark Armed? There's some cool cards in there, but like, I don't know enough about it. I recently realized how expensive Destiny Hero Plasma is. Is it? It's the collector's edition card, or is there another print you're talking about? Do you think we will ever get awesome collection sets like the rarity collections of the OCG, where you can get iconic meta and anime cards in higher rarity? I do not know. Thoughts on Ulti Pot of Greed First Edition? It's cool, and I think GOAT format players are willing to pay for it, so that's interesting. Graded though, I don't know. I think the only demand that exists, a bit longer term for Pot of Greed graded is LOB, because you need to finish your set. I think Ulti Pot of Greed might be too niche. Though if someone wants to have like a PSA 10 GOAT deck, they might want that as well. So I don't know. PSA 10 Frog the Jam. Yeah, Frog the Jam is epic. I got an ulti first at Brain Control Spanish. Should I keep it or hold it for potential value increase? Again, I'm not gonna tell people buy this, hold this, flip this, XRP to the moon. That's not what my channel is about. If you ever enjoyed RuneScape, I was a World of Warcraft player. But I did play it at one point during the Christmas event. Like you had these Christmas hats or something like that in RuneScape, if I remember correctly. Do you have any cool guitars? I just showed an Aristides with a Blue Eyes inlay. Can't get cooler than that. I also have Ibanez Zyphus. I have a lot of guitars and basses because of my company. Yeah. What set was that obelisk from? It was the GBI, the secret. Do you think first at Toon Chaos Box will keep going up, or should I look to sell? Maybe I should. Again, I'm not gonna tell people buy this, hold this, ADA, flip NFT, up stonks. Will you ever be doing Yu-Gi-Oh openings again? It depends on if I get like something cool to open. When I opened stuff like Ghosts from the Past, I didn't feel happy doing those openings, and so I don't want to do that anymore. But then when I opened the Worlds packs from 2011, if you haven't seen that yet, check it out. But I opened these very rare Worlds packs. That was really cool. So it really depends on what kind of sealed stuff I get in and if they're worth opening even. What are the ratios to pull an SP in BTO1? So that's about Vanguard. The ratios is awful. I think it's 3 per case. I don't actually know, but it's way too little. Like it's not 1 per box. It's you have to open many boxes. It's not quite as bad as Ghost Rares, but it's close. I really enjoy collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Me too. I used to be able to play the recorder terribly. Wow. So you are a software/hardware developer, only software, and we work with a lot of subcontractors as well. So I wouldn't say I'm a pro dev or anything like that. But obviously, you need to know like the full stack in order to make everything. I won't get into too many details here. Yu-Gi-Oh had a lot less flippers than Pokemon. That is true, and that is, I think, why we aren't seeing a crash that's comparable to Pokemon. Again, like I said, Pokemon, depending on the item you bought, you could have lost 70% and so forth because a lot of items were simply pure flippage, and we didn't have that quite as much in Yu-Gi-Oh. Yu-Gi-Oh has less flippers because there is less kids actually playing the game. That's just not true. We just didn't have Twitch streamers saying, "Look, this base at Unlim Charizard is $3,000 million." We didn't have that, and so we didn't have a guy that was just flipping shoes and then was flipping some other Supreme things, suddenly jumping into our shit and shilling stuff. So we had far less of that speculative movement. We still had some, as all cards did, as all collectibles did, but we didn't have that same ridiculous level of it. Um, I play mostly covers of Slayer and Joy. I think I just lost the. Oh no, I found it. Are unlimited cards worth collecting? Been trying to recollect SDY, SDK, SDJ. I mean, if you want to collect them, go ahead. Like Unlim starter deck cards are a great way to have the original cards that you grew up with at a very, very low cost. So if that's what you're going for, enjoy. Like they're really cool that way. But also be aware that there's a billion out there and that if they go up, it's probably during times of euphoria, like we saw earlier this year. I think Yu-Gi-Oh didn't retrace because it didn't go up as much as Pokemon. It was relatively cheaper. It saw very similar. Yeah, it didn't see the same rate of growth, but it saw ridiculous amounts of growth still. So I don't know about that one. Real assets, what are those? I only got Bitcoin and cards. Yeah, that's what I mean. GLD1 Crush Card Virus is underrated. I really like GLD1 Crush Card. Yu-Gi-Oh! And card games are a financial risk. If you want legit investments, consider Apple or Tesla stock. Hold up. Apple and Tesla stock are not the same thing. It's not because you're a tech company that you are a proper financial instrument. I mean, they're a proper financial instrument, but the amount of speculation going on Apple versus Tesla are two completely different worlds. So if you tell me, oh yeah, I've got PSA Necroface and then I've got Tesla stock, so I'm well diversified. I'll tell you, fuck off. Even though I like Tesla a lot, I'm likely gonna buy one in the near future. So I'm pro Tesla, but Tesla stock is not the same as Apple stock. Are GX EU Ultimates more desirable than NA Ultis? It depends on who you ask. I personally prefer the European ones. I had all the first at starter decks, but lost them all. Don't know if I should go hunting for first because it's expensive. It depends on if you have that kind of capital lying around. Um, Holy shit, my dog is barking like crazy. Um, they're quite expensive, but it is one of my favorite cards. Like SDK Blue Eyes is a crazy card to me. I mean, no offense. I enjoy collecting Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I didn't take any offense. I hope I haven't, you know, talk shit on anyone on purpose or anything like that. Thoughts on Ultimate Rare Cyber End Dragon? I like the card. Thoughts on like I don't know what else to say. I want one in PSA 10, but they barely exist. I saw strictly sealed graded one, but it was an NA copy, and I would love to have an EU copy as an EU boy myself. Thoughts on dual terminal and OTS Ultimate Rares in PSA 9 and 10? The problem is that these are not the same cards. Like there's differences in dual terminal cards. Some of these are plentiful and some of these are rare as shit. OTS Ultimates, again, like if you have an ultimate rare from an OTS pack that just came out, like let's say the Cyber Dragon, um, those were all kept in great condition from the start. And then you say PSA 9 to 10, but those are completely different worlds as well. Because if you're going for a modern guard graded, if you buy a 9 of a modern card graded when 10s are just as rare, which I mean like not, why? Like if you're going for modern, at least get 10s because it's the only differentiator in condition you have. PSA 9 modern might as well be raw. So, be careful with that at least. It's also why I don't like making blanket statements on stuff. Like the question is dual terminal, OTS Ultimate Rares, PSA 9 to 10, and all of those are completely different cards with completely different risk factors. How much would you pay for a raw sample SDY card? It depends on condition. The difference between a mint one and a beat up one is tremendous. Ultimate Cyber Dragon is gonna be great long term. It is iconic, maybe. Yes, I like Cyber Dragon, and it's one of the best GX cards. It has one thing going against it, and that's that it's a super ulti, but it was also played to shit, so they're relatively beat up. Like there's gonna be condition rarity there. The problem is that it's a GX card, so you automatically already like cut off half of your potential collector base, if not more, because most people just grew up on dual monsters. So I like the card, but if I had to like bet on something speculatively, I don't know if that's the card. Thoughts on newer OTS ultis? For decks, I think they're cool. If I were playing a Cyber Dragon deck right now, it would be cool to play the Cyber Dragon OTS ulti. To speculate on, I don't know about that. It would have to be a card where it's part of a larger set. To give you an example, let's say you're a toon collector. I'm a toon collector. I want all the relevant toon cards in PSA 10. It's also why I sold like a Toon Mermaid PSA 9 yesterday because I wanted 10. Um, if I want to have the full set of toons, you start with MRL, right? Blue Eyes Toon Dragon, Toon Mermaid, Toon Summon Scroll, Toon World. That's your baseline. Then you start getting the weird commons like Toon Alligator, Manga Ryu Ran, weird shit like that. Maybe some tournament pack stuff like Toon Cannon Soldier. The weird promos like Toon Gemini Elf and Toon Goblin Attack Force. But then you start expanding, right? What's next? You probably want the Toon Kingdom. At that point, do you go for the secret or do you go for the OTS ulti? So maybe something like a Toon Kingdom OTS ulti is interesting because if you have an excited Toon collector, he will want that. But there's also OTS ultis like Forbidden Droplets. Who gives a fuck? That card is not collector relevant, it's player relevant. And so it depends on the card. And even like the Toon example, Toon Kingdom, will a Toon collector want that card? I don't know about that even because most Toon collectors just want the originals, and Toon Kingdom is not that. And even if it was, maybe the secret still wins because it was first. So there's a lot of ifs. It's not that easy as going to like as going OTS ulti. It's like here's a billion things to consider. Um, let's see. What value would you place on Ghost Rares? Again, depends which one. The GX Ghost Rares like Honest, Rainbow Dragon, and so forth, I think they are slightly overrated right now because one per case isn't that rare. You know, like it's just not. And so I see so many of these constantly. What's actually rare about them is the fact that they are all scratched up. And so because of that, getting a PSA 10 of these is impossible. But getting a PSA 6 to 9, 9 is still quite hard, but 6 to 8, let's say, who gives a damn? So it's all condition rarity there. And then you have to ask yourself how exciting is that ghost rare even? And so then you also have other ghost rares. Like they started remaking ghost rares. You have ones from Haunted Haunted Mine, whatever, the blue eyes there. You now have the new ones in Ghosts from the Past. Those are all massively different cards with different identities to them. And so it's hard to say what do I think of ghost rares because some are very interesting and some are not interesting at all. Crazy how this channel been around for just over 1 year now. Yeah, that is crazy. Is it the birthday of the channel? I don't know. Magic 8 Ball streamer man. Should I do this buy or that sell or this with my money? What's up, Jonathan? Hope you're well. Also, congratulations on your is it girlfriend or fiance or wife? I don't know, but I saw your photo posting with the same t-shirt and it was very cute. So enjoy. Stonks only go up. That's true. Let's see. All right, guys, I'm out. Wishing you guys a good day. See ya, Jimmy. Last week, I spent 1,400 on a 2002 sealed Magic Ruler box like a freak. 1,400? Was it first edition? I don't believe that at all. Like, that's super cheap. If it was first edition, you scammed someone. Or I don't know, but all the money is going to NFTs right now. Smart money, that is. I don't think smart money is buying NFTs right now. I think NFTs as a whole felt very toppy last week. Again, some projects will end up doing incredibly. People really haven't seen, like, it's super young right now as a space. But right now, as far as speculative behavior goes, holy fucking shit. You can make a 3D turd and sell it for 10 ETH for some reason because you have a Discord, so we have a community behind it. Like, be careful out there. I think smart money bought NFTs a few months ago, not right now. But again, some projects will do great. The designer for Solemn Tones plugins actually is a really big NFT designer right now. His name is Glass Crane. He makes incredible stuff. Like, he's actually just really fucking good at art. Um, but again, like, that is not the same as the entire NFT market. 99% of the NFT market is hot garbage and is like a complete Ponzi scheme. And that 1% that will end up actually being used um, as digital real estate in some type of games or some social media where you show off your insane collection and so forth, like those, okay, sure, they will thrive, but holy fuck, NFTs, like the whole space is full of dumb money right now. Bring back the blonde hair. No, I just couldn't keep it up. It was so much work. Like, I'm nah. Thoughts on SGC to flip Yu-Gi-Oh! Only 30 to grade most cards. SGC might as well be raw on Yu-Gi-Oh! Right now. I know they're like well respected in Pokemon and in sport. No, Pokemon not really. They're respected in sports, but they're not actually a big deal in Yu-Gi-Oh! Whatsoever. You do contracting. What advice would you have for someone finding business for a tech contracting business? I don't understand the question. I'm just saying we work with subcontractors, but we never, like, Solemn Tones is never contracted by others, if that makes sense. Um, NFTs are the biggest scam I've ever seen. That depends. Like, people saw a headline of an NFT and go, "Oh, so people are buying JPEGs. That's a scam." Like, it goes way deeper than that. People don't really realize the tech behind it yet, but the JPEG form of it has some. Uh, can we get a hair revel? Yeah, like, holy fucking shit. There's too much. Wait. Yeah, like Morphing Jar is probably one of the top 10 basic B Yu-Gi-Oh cards and only 5x still. That 5x is 2,400 plus. I'm not sure what you mean, Jonathan. Is Bruce your father? Yes. NFT equals money laundering. It every unregulated asset is used for money laundering, but that doesn't mean the whole space is built on it. I also own a tour guide PSA 8. How much value do you rate yours? So I'm not really selling mine. I never really looked into it. I would say usually 8s are just raw price, maybe raw price plus grading fee or something like that. So yeah, I don't know. Though I have to say right now, because of how backed up PSAs, a lot of people are overpaying for 8s. So wow, that sounds really bad because of it's not an STD, but for PSA 8s, people are kind of overpaying. Overall, it should be raw plus grading fee or so, unless they're really hard to grade. Like if it's a ghost rare, it might be a different story. I love the market cool off, making it easy for me to get my personal childhood favorites. FOMO or selling to actual fans is fine by me. Maybe I can afford some first at Pharaoh and Guardian packs one day. I think they're gonna be pretty cheap, yeah. You think the market bottomed out yet? I don't fucking know. I don't have a crystal ball. I think, hmm. Assuming demand doesn't vanish, the market bottoms around the time where all the lowest value subs come back from around hype time. And that isn't now. But it doesn't mean that the rate of decline will increase. But if you want to see when stuff goes up again, it should be when that backlog has been cleared. Roughly how many cards are you waiting to get back from PSA right now? Can we expect more PSA return videos in the near future? Roughly 200 cards, 250, 300. I don't know. But yes, expect many more PSA return videos because there's a shit ton. Love your channel. Thank you so much. I just bought the first at Ghost Stardust for 90. Wow. If it's in good condition, that's good on you. Did you know that a first at sample Summon Skull exists? Yes, I do know of that. What would you price it at? No idea. Do you think they will eventually reprint some OG sets in an unlimited booster box format again in English? I think a lot of people would go crazy over them just to have fun and open. I mean, they reprint the Walmart packs all the time, as far as I'm aware. So do you mean like in the box itself? Is that what you're after? I don't know. I think they could do something like Evolutions, where it's a specialty product that looks like that, but not completely remaking it. I think they need to still keep it fresh and modern and exciting. Any suggestions on which binder I should get to preserve my cards? I like Dragon Shield Codex. In the link in the description, I actually have a link to all of the stuff I use, whether it's for grading, storing cards, anything like that. So playmats even. So on that link, you can also find like the stuff I use to ship off to PSA, like the card savers, the penny sleeves, and there's also one binder there, the Dragon Shield Codex, which is what I personally use. People that buy sell PSA modern cards don't understand what the point of grading is. I mean, people that sell PSA modern cards know very well. They buy raw, instantly grade it, instantly flip it, make some sick profit. They know fully well what to do. Um, do you wait? What the hell? Yeah, I'm a tech idiot right here. Oh my god, I ruined chat. Do you think you will still be doing Yu-Gi-Oh! Market Watch channel if the overall Yu-Gi-Oh! Slap market crashes by more than 95%? Okay, well, so let me unpack that. So this channel isn't just for market watches. This channel is for Yu-Gi-Oh! Collecting slash finance, whatever you want to call it. And also just a little finance in general. If Yu-Gi-Oh! As a whole crashes, that would be sad, but it would also be fucking hilarious. So yes, I would still be here. I think I would make like memes. I think like because I've been very clear about this before how I'm already completely de-risked. So I would just make those funny ass. I don't know if you ever saw that like Wojak videos. If you've ever been into crypto NFTs, there's these videos of people getting completely fucked and then making hilarious animations out of it. So I would probably be doing something like that. I don't know, but I would still cover it because I still think it's interesting. And 95% is just not happening in my opinion, but what do I know? What Stardust Dragon rarity is better? Ghost. And it's not even close. Ghost, then there's a billion miles under it, then you have Ultimate, then you have another billion miles, and then you get to Collector, Starlight, whatever the hell. Do you have any knowledge about Hobby League cards and how they were distributed? So, if you mean the Toon Goblin Attack Force, Toon Gemini Elf type of cards, they were like stacks. So, it was like, here's a pack of 50 Toon Goblin Attack Force. Enjoy. But if you mean later, like I saw, is that Hobby League? The cards with like the different colored names, like you had Dark Magician Girl in red, stuff like. Is that Hobby League as well? I probably don't know enough about it to actually comment on it. But if you're talking about like the Toon Goblin Attacks Force and Toon Gemini Elf type, those are printed to oblivion. Do you keep up with a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh? Not enough. Not enough to comment on it. Droplet mixes into the lore of the Solemns and will float around formats to come, like Ulti Solemn Strike and how it's moonrocketed mixing back into the meta. I think it's a little relevant lore-wise. But I agree it's mostly dependent for now, meta dependent for now. Yeah, I mean, it could be slightly relevant lore-wise, but like, who actually knows about that? I didn't. I honestly think Droplets is just a meta card. End of story. Even though there might be the slightest whatever the hell. Like, if Ulti Solemn Strike is currently stonking, isn't it because it's actually going to be played by some Mad Lad Altergeist player or whatever, or Eldritch player or something like that? I don't think Ulti Solemn Strike is a collector card, but which signer dragon is most valued collectors wise? Also for Toon Kingdom, it reminds me of Ulti Crystal Beast back in the day. People constantly try to get it and want it, but they're always floating around for now. The only difference there, I agree, but the big difference there would be that Ulti Crystal Beasts are at least anime cards. Like, I want Ulti Crystal Beasts because I remember, Jesse and Sapphire Pegasus with Ruby Carbuncle and all of that. Whereas Toon Kingdom is like a a new card that's not very big anime moment type of deal. All grading companies are scams. Change my mind. I'm not even gonna try. You're too far gone. No offense, but like that's just such a ridiculous statement that there's no point in even trying. That conversation will go nowhere. Wife lol, married 3 years. Congratulations. Wow, we have a lot of scrolling to do. Um, do you think some Yu-Gi-Oh cards will outperform the S&P, let's say 10 to 15 years from now? So far they have. Hard. um I think up till now, any time frame you take, Yu-Gi-Oh cards have outperformed it. Unless you take like 2002 till 2012, obviously, but like if it ends right now, it already has. Do I think that will keep going? Some cards, probably. I believe so. Otherwise, it's not even worth it. Like, if you believe that, let's say, Mystical Elf, if you believe that this Mystical Elf will, in 7 years, let's say, not have outperformed a basic index fund, then there's no point speculating on it. Because you could buy the index fund, have something that's actually backed by cash flows, earnings growth, dividends, a proper economy, a Federal Reserve, banks, even though you can say, oh, it's all a scam, whatever, like it's actually properly backed by shit. And in the worst case scenario, you still have dividend payouts until you die. So if you, and then this can die in a fire, this can like be stolen, this is annoying to ship, this is not very liquid. Like all those pros for index funds and all those cons for this, if you believe that it's not feasible that this outperforms that, why buy it? Unless you want to collect it. I want this card because I really think she's hot as shit. No, because I really think it's a really cool card. But if you don't think this outperforms, why the fuck would you speculate on it? So from a speculative point of view, all the shit and all the risk that goes into collectibles needs to pay off. That's also why whenever I watch Alpha Investments and he's going like, yeah, the goal for these collectibles is 5 to 8% a year. I'm like, why? Why would your goal be 5 to 8% a year? You're literally not beating a random index fund, and you have so much more risk and so much more bullshit. Unless you just like owning the thing. If you like owning the thing, cool. That's where I'm at. But at least be honest with yourself as far as your goals go. Um, can you invest into Yu-Gi-Oh on a budget? Let's say $100 100 euros a month. I would say no, unless you're playing the modern flip type of game. Now, if you just want to collect it, you can easily. 100 is plenty. But like trying to do the high-end collector card type deal, you're already priced out of so much stuff. And I also have to wonder if you are being tied down by such a tiny portion. I will almost assume that you're not investing in real stuff either. Because that's like, it's a realistic budget for a normal person with a normal job, with a down payment on the house and a mortgage and all of that stuff. But at that point, if you have that 100 but not more, that 100 should be, in my opinion, going into actually, making sure your future is more secure financially. And I don't think a speculative collectible is the move then, unless it's bringing you happiness. If it's just your hobby, then yeah, absolutely. But I think it's important to be very rational and split those out. You got any idea on what the scale of the market cap of Yu-Gi-Oh is compared to Pokemon or Magic? I think graded Yu-Gi-Oh has a bigger market cap than graded Magic. But that's not because our top cards are actually more expensive. It's more so that we have more cards that are considered top. So, for example, in Magic, except for like a few key cards in PSA 10 and, alpha, beta, unlim, BGS stuff, almost no one actually grades. Like, Snapcaster Mage is not being sent in for grading. Liliana of the Veil is barely being sent in for grading. Whereas Yu-Gi-Oh, we will grade everything. Like the first 10 years of Yu-Gi-Oh cards are all perfectly gradable. Whereas if you ask like people, are you grading Innistrad? They'll like laugh at you. So if you're only counting graded cards, I think our market cap is bigger than Magic and smaller than Pokemon, but that's because Magic people don't grade as much. I think overall, obviously, both Pokemon and Magic are bigger. Um, but that's just by proxy of their brands being bigger. When Fed starts to raise interest rates, do you think that will affect lofty asset price like Yu-Gi-Oh slabs? Yes, I think so. I think all the speculative stuff is correlated in some way, and raised interest rates will, in my opinion, fuck growth stocks like tech, Tesla, all that stuff. I think because of that, crypto will also get fucked as certain companies get margin called. I think the Arche Pelawalala is like a good example of what happens when a really big fund gets destroyed. And I think a lot of funds will get destroyed because they're over leveraged. And at that point, crypto guys will get margin called. And some of these people are also in Yu-Gi-Oh. So it will affect, but I don't know by how much. Do you ever go card hunting locally, and have you ever scored a killer buy at like garage sales or something? I have hunted for cards locally, but with very limited success. And the reason for that is that most European cards aren't worth much when we talk about Duel Monsters era. Like all of our LOB, Stripe E stuff is whatever, all the collectors are in America. And then most of our GX is beat up, and most people don't even have GX. So when you're looking for cards in Europe that are like, gradable collector types of cards, we have far less to find. Thoughts on DDS Blue Eyes as an investment, even in played condition, they seem to be selling and kind of hard to find, even though the market is hot. Again, I'm very iffy on telling people what to invest in. I'm not a financial advisor. I think anything played is ruined except for price cards. Because I've spoken about this on the channel before. You need to have rarity. And there's only two ways to have rarity. Either you have real rarity, as in this card was printed 50 times, or go fuck off, which is the case with price cards. Or it has condition rarity, meaning this card is so, it wasn't printed much, but it was still printed in the thousands, but then all of them got destroyed, and now we only have 80 copies in PSA 10 condition left. That is condition rarity. If your card is played, that means it doesn't have condition rarity. And it doesn't have real rarity either unless it's a prize card. So there's actually plenty of them out there. And I would say that's the same for DDS Blue Eyes. So yeah, plenty of cards right now in played condition are selling for a lot and will probably keep on selling for a lot. But when markets really get fucked, I think all of the played stuff is the first and actually crashes down much harder than everything else. So you have to basically consider like layers of tiers, and the highest tier items are your PSA 10s of the best cards ever. And then the next tier is probably PSA 9s of the best cards ever. And then PSA 8s of the best cards ever. And then you start getting into like raw nice cards. And then you start getting into like PSA 9s and 10s of that card in a lesser printing. Um, maybe it's what's a good example? Let's say Red Eyes. Take Red Eyes as an example. Let's say PSA 10 LOB first ed is the best. And then you go down 9 LOB, great. And then you go into do I buy a raw LOB or do I buy a starter deck Joey? And maybe PSA 10 starter deck Joey is really cool. And then you go down, no. And as you go down, your card gets riskier and riskier. And so you get like Spanish Red Eyes, and you get played Red Eyes, and you get like lower and lower and lower. And I gotta ask, why would you be going for, the 12th best Red Eyes? I don't know. That feels like too much risk in something that's already super risky. Got a PSA 8 Cyber End Dragon Ultimate Rare for 1,300. Is it worth more now or did I lose money? I think it's worth more right now, but you should probably look into psacard.com, into sold eBay prices, and learn how to assess market value yourself. Because if you ask me this right now, this means you don't know how to do that. And so in 6 months, maybe I'm not live. And what will you do then? You won't be able to ask anyone anymore, or you have to go to Facebook and maybe someone lies to you to try and buy it from you for cheaper. So you want to get educated on these things in order to not have to ask so that you're better prepared to actually move in this market. So psacart.com, eBay sold listings, and then, putting it all together, common sense and so forth. I saw a Yu-Gi-Oh card collector buy 64,000 US in Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Yeah, that's possible. Other than PSA and Beckett, who else is a decent grading company for Yu-Gi-Oh? I do not know. Holy hell, there's so many questions. As far as metal music goes, did you ever find a helpful resource for learning, developing any type of screaming worth sharing? No. I have followed Scream tutorials, and they all suck. I used to then make them, and those also sucked. The only thing you can do is try to make the noise. I would like to think that I'm good at making the noise now. You can check out Maxim Solemn Breathe Fire or Melody of Death or something like that. Just gotta practice. My card went from $2 to $4 stonks. Yes. What's your personal favorite Dark Magician out of DDS, SDY, and BPT? That's hard. I wanted to say SDY, but then you said BPT, and like the BPT, the starter deck art BPT, so the first one, that's a spicy card. The DDS is also really cool. Oh, this is hard. It's definitely not LOB because that alien art I'm not into. I don't know. I think SDY wins purely from my nostalgia tingle. Do you collect Yu-Gi-Oh graded video games? Nope. You seen the Mega House statues? I don't know. Favorite sleeves? Dragon Shield. What is the best dinosaur card for players? No idea. Tifa or Irith? I don't know. You should check out the VV app. They have NFT licensed 3D collectibles. No, I don't have time. Opinion on Megatins 2021. They're good for players. I like them. I'm gonna buy some of the reprints, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna invest in it. It's just cool. Would you ever invest/collect in vintage Japanese? I own some Bandai cards because a viewer sent them to me and they're pretty cool, but I'm not actively investing in anything vintage Japanese because I didn't grow up on it. I'm thinking of getting a booster box for Christmas. Any help on what I should get for potential profit return? No. Just buy what you think is cool. I think the Megatins are cool. Most underrated type of monster? Zombie. I think they're like, I don't see a lot of people who are like really into zombies. I don't get why. And what are your top 3 favorite Yu-Gi-Oh waifus? Easy. Dark Magician Girl, Injection Fairy Lily, no one else because they all suck. Ooh, I don't know. I agree with your point so much. People like Rudy and you invest because you love the product. I mean, yeah, why else would you? Oh, we have Pokenomics here. Hope you're doing well. Thank you so much. Let's see, what else am I missing? Which site is the best for buying vintage Yu-Gi-Oh packs? eBay and Instagram. There's no real there's no site where you can go like Yu-Gi-Oh vintagepacks.com and then you can just buy LOB all day. Like there's only a few out there, so eBay is your best bet. I just wanted things, maybe not financially prudent, but I pay for them what I value them at, and I just happen to work in my favorite if when it goes up. Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to, as long as you're not overexposing yourself to like super risky shit, you can just buy what you like, right? Like I have like this tour guide right here. I think she was 49 bucks. And then I spent way too much on grading. Was this a stonks investment? Probably not, but it's a really cool card. Wasn't it pretty obvious to invest back in the 1990s, 2000s? These games anime shaped a whole generation, so wasn't it easy to predict? So why don't you do it right now on something else? If it's so easy, you know. You know, for every single Yu-Gi-Oh out there, there's a Metabots and Harry Potter stickers and Lord of the Rings cards, which now the boxes have gone up a little. But like for every something like that, there's something that didn't moon at all. Beyblades is an example. I have some vintage Beyblades. You can buy vintage Beyblades in the box right now for 30 bucks. The best one is 300. You have not outperformed stocks at all, and you have these clunky ass boxes. Were you supposed to predict that you would be grading Yu-Gi-Oh cards? Why couldn't I grade Beyblades? I don't know. So you can't predict these things. For all you know, Yu-Gi-Oh could have fucking died, and there would be no generation that's still playing the game, and so they couldn't have bought the graded stuff either because they just lost touch of the brand. So it's way more like it's way easier to say that looking back, but try and do it right now then if it's so easy. You can try and say, "Oh, I'm going to go after the Fortnite cards right now." But maybe Fortnite will make a billion other cards with other companies and end up, those not being that special. After English and Japan, what is the third biggest Yu-Gi-Oh market? Europe. How do you dictate how much time, effort, brain power goes into Solemn Tones, this channel, Vanguard, and everything else that you do? I wish I had a system. Brain power is just everything at max all the time. It's actually really stressful. Time is just Solemn Tones is always priority. It doesn't matter. I will burn this channel to the ground to focus on Solemn Tones if it's necessary. And that's what I've been doing the past few months. Like you've noticed, my uploads have been less because I've been super busy with a lot of really big stuff for Solemn Tones. So I intend to obliterate that market. And that takes precedence over everything else forever. Um, and the next is Yu-Gi-Oh collecting and Vanguard playing. Like those will ebb and flow. Sometimes Yu-Gi-Oh collecting is fun. Sometimes Vanguard playing. You know, maybe the Vanguard format sucks ass, and then I'll just look at my Mystical Elf and go, "Oh, damn titties." No, but like then then I'll go Mystical Elf is a really cool card, and I'll be looking at that, and then I'll go, "Oh, but look now Vanguard Premium is fun," and I'll play some of that. So it's very ebb and flow. But Solemn Tones will always be priority. And then when there is maybe something not to do, or maybe I'm too stressed out or drained, and then I'll play my card games. What do you think of the Lost Art cards? Dark Magician Girl to the Moon. No, I don't know. What should I do with my PSA 10 Unlim MFC DMG? The price has been going up on this one, so I feel like selling, but I feel nervous sitting on it where it's unlimited. I can't tell you what to buy and sell. Holy shit. Did you see that John from House of Champs was crushing on you hard in his Sunday live stream? Was he? Aw. We should hang sometime. I don't know if you remember, but I'm the recovery guy. Glad to catch a live stream. One question: do you think dueling is the fastest way for me to relearn the market? If you want to learn the playable card market, you should play the game. And I think a lot of vendors are actually missing out here for that reason. There's a lot of vendors who are like, yeah, I'll buy everything at 40 or 50% off and then I'll resell and blah, blah, blah. But if you actually know what could reasonably be on a ban list and you know what's going to be good, like, and you playtest and maybe you realize, like, hey, this Fire Fusion card is fucking nuts, but everyone is selling them at 20 bucks because they're actually not that exciting of a secret right now, but I know this crazy combo deck is gonna blah blah blah. If you know those things, you're gonna be a way better fucking modern vendor. So playing the game, actually knowing what's up there, yeah, it'll help. Now, will it help with this? Fuck no. You can play me to death with your Tri-Brigade Eldritch Altergeist. It won't have taught you shit about my BGS 8.5 LOB First Edition Flame Swordsman. So, important, differential there. But for modern stuff, absolutely. Why is an LOBE worth much less than the regular LOB? Because it's European and Americans dominate the market, so they want the American cards. D Hero or E Hero, Destiny Hero, all the way. I'm an edge lord. What do you think about the market right now compared to Pokemon? It seems like Yu-Gi-Oh is doing fine. Yes, Yu-Gi-Oh is doing finer than Pokemon, but it's still a bit down. Do you ever watch the Beyblade show? Yes, I actually recently rewatched it. A few months ago, actually. Um, Want to apologize for the argument way back for the words used. I don't even remember. So apologies accepted. I don't remember the argument. It's all good. Gonna disagree. The queens are waifu. That's all fine. Beyblade is awesome. Yeah, I agree. I used to look forward to your daily uploads. Will those return? Like I said, my company will always take precedence. So right now we're working on a very big product, getting close to a product launch. I intend to take over the world. I want to ride a T-Rex, and that T-Rex is made out of guitars. And then I will take over Germany with that T-Rex, and we will blast like metalcore out of the biggest speakers ever. And then the T-Rex will breathe fire. So for that reason, I can't do daily uploads. But I wish, but like as long as Solemn Tones is first of all doing extremely well, and I have to keep working on all of this stuff, they can't return. Has your opinion on Starlights changed now that we have seen the pull rates for them are really hard to pull? No, they haven't. People are still keeping them saved, and there's nowhere near enough kids growing up on them. But hey, MetaZoo is the next game to the moon. That's an easy one to predict. Holy hell, maybe. Other games didn't have that much of an impact as Yu-Gi-Oh! Slash Pokemon had. I remember as a child, everyone played these games or watched them, but I agree it's easy to say that now looking back. I don't know about that. Like, it's easier to remember Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon because they kept being in the zeitgeist. But if I'm being honest with myself, sure, I played more Yu-Gi-Oh! But Beyblade was a big deal. Bakugan was a big deal for people like slightly younger than me. And all of these games didn't go anywhere. I mean, Beyblade still exists. You have Beyblade Burst right now doing pretty well, but there's no collector's market around them. So you can't really predict those types of things. Um, John wants to do a podcast with you, and he said your pointy beard is sexy AF. Oh damn, I kind of rounded him a little bit because we were shooting an ad in like the biggest studio in Europe, and so I had to clean up a little. But yeah, I would love to have a talk with John. We actually spoke a few times about working together on some things, and then we both forgot, lost track of stuff, couldn't get a date pinned. But we have to do it at some point. Should I send in my Starlight Rare Shooting Star Majestic Dragon? Probably at the current price of $150, probably not. Can see you as an Eldritch fan. Yes, I like Eldritch. I sold my Eldritch core to Robbie Cole a few months ago because I didn't have time to play in events, and also like everything was closed, so I was kind of whatever. They'll probably reprint it, and then they did. So they reprinted everything except for Cursed Eldland so far. I'm basically waiting for that so then I can finally um, play Eldritch again because I did like that deck. How's your Darkrai collection going? Pretty shit. I have 3 Raws, and then I was looking on card market for a variety of cards, and I noticed, wow, the raw Pokemon market has been poached like crazy. Like I ask for people for pictures, and every near mint is basically damaged. It's so much worse than Yu-Gi-Oh! So that's also making me think like, wow, what is in that backlog? Like the PSA backlog, I already know. The value subs are 99% Pokemon, and it's going to be like it's going to be an avalanche. So I'm not buying shit because I know from European value subs they're still returning July 2020, and the peak hype was October 2020, maybe November-ish. That means every European that bought Ross and sent them in for grading is still waiting. We're going to see the most incredible supply hit the fan and it's gonna. I don't like using these words, but a lot of these cards are going to zero. I mean, they're going to go to the price where someone is willing to get out of bed and ship them and hopefully get a little bit of money back. That's what's going to happen to a lot, not all, of course. Like the best cards, they're going to win. Yeah, trophy cards, base set first edition PSA 10s, they're going to win. Yeah, but like when I'm talking about the random dark rise that I want, those are going to go. They're gone. Especially like Hidden Fates, Shiny Darkrai. Dude, I look forward to my $9 PSA 10. Like that's what I assume is gonna happen. And I will actually build my Darkrai collection then for ridiculously cheap. But yeah, I still have my 3 raws, I guess. I spent like 2,000 on MetaZoo and I can't sell the boxes for profit. I would sell. I can't say this, but personally, I would just cut my losses and get my money out. But maybe it ends up mooning, right? When LON complete set unlimited is 200 and the first set one is 1,300, it's easy to see why vintage is safe. Is it though? I don't know about that. Definitely, you could see him as an Eldritch player and a Exodia Mystic Mine or Mill player. Whoa, there. Those are very different types of decks. Dual Masters at Anime too. Yes, it did. Dual Masters. Holy shit, I even forgot about that. Digimon is making a comeback, but who knows if that will last. Any new TCG, I'm very skeptical of. Most TCGs fail within the first 3 years. Best Belgian band. I don't know. No idea. If you had restart your whole collection now, how would you start and which cards would you try to get? I don't know. I know. I would buy European first edition SDK Blue Eyes as raw, minty, because they're actually still very cheap. And it would be a way for me to potentially get a PSA 10 of a first edition of my favorite Blue Eyes. Because it's European, it's still like super cheap. I mean, when I say super cheap, I'm still going to pay like 300 or 400 for it. Probably less, like 200 maybe. Um, but I'll at least have, a first ed minty SDK. So that's where I would start. I'm not telling people to do that, by the way, because I don't think it's the most prudent investment or anything like that. But that's where I would start. And then I would probably, I would start with a lot of European stuff because it's an easy way to own some of these cards without spending the incredible prices. Honestly, now that the market's hot again, you should make daily uploads again. What's up, vintage values? The metal guitar T-Rex you described should be a financial advisor. Yeah, he really should. You mentioned that only the top 1% of the Yu-Gi-Oh cards will most likely survive the potential crash and preserve the value. Which slab Yu-Gi-Oh cards other than LOB do you consider as a top 1%? So I don't think I said it that way ever. I think if we go to the market ceases to exist type of scenario, yes, the 1% will be all that's left. Realistically speaking, like cards will still exist and have value. People aren't going to sell stuff for $2, but that is assuming worst, ridiculous case scenario. I don't think that's going to happen. It's just that the more you zoom out, the further the gap will be between the best and not best. And which cards do you consider as the top one? Again, I don't like saying because it's going to be like, go buy those and don't buy anything else. And that's not what I'm trying to do at all. But I think it's pretty fucking obvious. Like, if you have to ask, it's probably not part of it. There's like clear cards that everyone just loves and can't stop talking about, and that instantly still sell on Instagram for market price, which is not the case for everything else. I know you're really not into modern, but how do you feel about the tins as investments, sealed cases? For playable cards, yes. For longer term, I don't know. If MetaZoo moons, will you open a box on your channel? No. If someone sends me one for free, sure, but Darkrai Cresselia Legend is one of the greatest, most beautiful cards made in anything. I agree. I really like that card. Again, not some go speculate on this, but that's like a card I actually want because I really like the way it looks. Thoughts on legendary collection cards? Any that look appealing to collect? Yeah, legendary collection is like a great way to own cool versions of iconic cards, especially for your deck. And also like they're just a cheap, a cheap entry point. Any of the classic best cards in Legendary Collection are usually cool cards to have. What's your prediction for King's Court? That's already out. I don't know what else to say. It was a good modern set, but it's not some stonking thing. Are you going to YCS Pasadena? No. I noticed like the rumors that it's like going to be in January or something. They noticed a date, but nothing announced yet. So, Duel Monsters still have a market, even though it ended after 2 years here. Lol. Oh, Pokenomics. Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh? What grows more on a percentage basis over the next 10 years and why? That's hard. That is really hard. I don't think. Holy hell. Like, when you say percentage basis, are you talking about the market cap of like the whole market, or are you talking about. That's really tough because, like, obviously, Pokemon is the bigger brand. So, like, no questions asked, Pokemon is the bigger brand. But is the supply so much bigger that it will still be like nuked? And then alternatively, are we talking about specific cards? Because like Pokemon as a whole has more cards that are going to be junk, in my opinion. There are far more cards that have no business being graded and that are being graded and that are just going to sit and be dead money. So, like, because if you go purely by market cap, that means you're counting all the Hidden Fates Charizards, all the whatever the hell other Charizard, right? And all of those, as they only lose and lose and lose, are such a huge amount that like Pokemon will lose. But that's not because Pokemon as a brand lost. It's purely because there's so much garbage. So like I think if you look at first ed base PSA 10s versus first ed LOB PSA 10s, I think Pokemon will probably beat Yu-Gi-Oh. But if you like go beyond that at like sets that came after and so forth, I think Yu-Gi-Oh will actually beat Pokemon. I think there's better growth prospects for specific cards in specific sets that weren't the first that are more interesting and collectible than comparable cards in Pokemon. But so it's very hard to go off the blanket statement. Like to make an example, let's say in Pharaoh's Servant first edition Jinzo. That card is the which set? Is that the fourth set? It's one of the early sets, but it's definitely not the first. There's so many Jinzo fans that are so damn in love with Jinzo, but when you then go to like Pokemon and you go to Team Rocket or whatever set that's around that era, the supply is so big and the love for the cards in that set is so much smaller than for base and maybe gold stars and shinings and so forth. You have way more of those incredible winners in Yu-Gi-Oh. And so when you go on specific cards, I think Yu-Gi-Oh will win. But I think base set first versus LOB first, Pokemon will probably win. Because I also think LOB, while our iconic first set, has a lot of weaker cards that aren't actually fan favorite, or at least aren't fan favorite art either, and things like that. But yeah, it's tough. Like because again, purely from we take all the Pokemon cards and we take all the Yu-Gi-Oh cards that are graded. Then again, Pokemon has so much garbage that's not going anywhere, in my opinion, that Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't really have because we never had that Twitch flipper kind of thing. But it's a very complex question. If you're down to ever have a talk about that, maybe on your podcast with Rainy Day Collectibles and so forth, and literally duke this out and unpack this in a 1 hour long talk, I'm all for it because this is complex, like depending on the scope and everything. Thoughts on old school duelist packs like Jaden, Chaz, Yugi, and Kaiba? The problem with the duelist packs, like you had Jaden, Chaz, Zane, Aster, Phoenix, and so forth, there's no really good chase cards in there. Like you don't have some crazy ulti, you don't have some crazy first print. Like it was a lot of reprints and weird commons and shit like that. It, however, saying that, I really like the way the boxes look. So it's maybe cool to have some boxes purely for that box art and looking at them and keeping them sealed, but should I buy the Masterpiece Series Blue Eyes for 4,500 euros? I would never. And again, like, I never tell people what to buy, like saying, oh, you should buy this and sell this, but like 4,500 euros for the Platinum Blue Eyes? No, I don't see that working out. In before it goes to 6,000 in so many years, and people say I was wrong, like, sure, I think that thing is way more likely to go down from 4,500 than to have gone up more than stocks over the medium to long term. Off topic, how many languages do you speak? Also, your English is really good. Small Belgian accent. Thank you. So I speak English. Um, I speak Dutch. So like Flemish, which is the northern part of Belgium. I speak a little bit of French, like je suis capable de communiquer avec une personne française. Like I'll be able to survive in France, but it's not good. You know, it's my girlfriend is actually Walloon, so her mother tongue is French. So I'm like able to survive in her family, but it's not that great. I can read German to an extent. I can read Latin, but who cares? Yeah, those are my languages. Did you see PewDiePie is pulling Yu-Gi-Oh cards and videos? Yes, I saw. Do you see some older sets like Pharaonic Guardian and Dark Crisis soon to rise in price along with the graded card market for those sets? Those sets have already been rising in price crazily. Is BGS better or PSA? Overall, PSA is more wanted in Yu-Gi-Oh. Which middleman do you use for shipping your cards to PSA? So I've always used Lutkin's Collectibles. With that being said, I do now ship directly. Because with the current way everything is, it's just way easier. Like, why would I go to a middleman and pay express and then still get them slower than actual express when I just can go straight to the source? That makes no sense. Yeah. Which Yo Solemn, what's your take on the recent 14.4K auction price for PSA 10 first edition MFC Dark Magician Girl? It's a bit lower than I expected, but it's not like out of the ordinary. It's, I'd say, yeah, I mean, market in my opinion was a little bit higher, like a couple K higher, but not. It's not crazy low. It's not crazy high. So much modern Pokemon is being hoarded by investors. Yes, it is. But that's not even the problem necessarily because there's enough out there. The problem is that so much stuff has been graded that isn't rare that will probably, just do awfully forever. MetaZoo will grow more on a percentage basis than Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh. Okay. What language does your brain think in? I can think in both Dutch and English. So like basically language is like the language you think in is usually your mother tongue, but once you reach the highest level in that language, like mother tongue level, you can probably think in both. And I can. I can't think in French. Like I can't think in Latin. But yeah, Dutch and English. And I actually probably think more in English because of my business. Everyone I work with is American or European, but then not from my country. Um, and then also I have my card game channels and all of that. So English, 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 English is my whole life. My girlfriend and I also communicate in English because her mother tongue is French and mine is Dutch, and so it's not, I'm not gonna use my shitty French, and she's good at Dutch now, but like English is just way easier. So I'm more English than Dutch now. How you going, Solom? I'm doing great. How are you? I'm probably gonna wrap this up sometime in the near future because it's getting pretty late. How to estimate the value of a card when there is no sale on eBay, like a French card? There's no way. You have to start going like I get the example. Um, you have to look at similar cards that sold and then compare their percentage versus the English one. So, for example, let's say you have an LOB Red Eyes that's French and no French cards sold, but you know an English LOB Blue Eyes sold, and you know an English LOB and then a French LOB Blue Eyes sold. You look at the percentage difference there, assuming both conditions are equal, and then you look at your Red Eyes, and basically there you have to spitball, go like, maybe it's somewhere in this range. That's the best you can do. Do you have any bulk subs with any services? If so, what do you have? Yeah, I have bulk subs with Lutkins a lot. If you want to talk about what do I have, again, 200, maybe not 300, 200 to 250 cards, I want to say, that are just ready to come back whenever. So yeah. Um, Thoughts on future price discrepancy between American versus European prints of old school Yu-Gi-Oh? Tough to say. Like, I've been seeing more and more European collectors, so it's possible that the European prints, due to also their lower overall lower print run, like gets closer to American. But I think American will forever win. And if the European market doesn't like grow exponentially, like crazily, I think the gap will probably get bigger because the interest will get more and more centralized. But it's hard to say. It can go either way. I own both as well, but that's also because I'm European. So, like, if there was an American Solemn Yu-Gi-Oh, this would be a completely different conversation. And I think European would not even be in the conversation. So, yeah, I'd still be careful. How much do you pay on average for grading your cards? It depends. Like when I subbed a lot of this stuff, you had such cheap grading, like $10 a card and so forth. Um, Recently I paid 200 to grade these, so it's impossible to say. Once we get back to normal, if we ever do, you could probably see $20 subs again, maybe 30. But for now, 150 is the lowest. Is King's Court Collector Rare Lightning Storm a good card? For players who want to max out their deck, yes. For high-end collectors, it's kind of whatever. It's a player-centric card, but there are players who like to completely max out, and so they like the card. But over time, as the card's relevance decreases, I would not think it will hold its value. Favorite Pokemon, if I may ask, it's probably Darkrai, but I have a lot of favorite Pokemon, like Gyarados I really like. Milotic I really like. At one point, I actually wanted a Gyarados here and a Milotic here tattooed, and then a Relinquished here and a Blue Eye Stoon here. So, like, I have some crazy ideas. But yeah, but Darkrai is probably my favorite. Also, as a kid, it was Garchomp as well. Hello, do you follow any sports leagues or teams in Europe or US? No. When it comes to sports, I suck. Um, just no. like I was never a physically active kid. I was like the chubby huffing and puffing like in the sports classes and so forth. So I started doing gym like 6 years ago or so, and that's the only thing that gave me any stamina or strength. If I won a mystical elven flame swordsman LOB first edition Spanish for $1 in an auction, is that a great deal? I mean, $1 makes it probably good regardless, right? But they're not very wanted because they're Spanish. However, $1, it's $1. Who cares? It's probably well done. Could you see maximum gold rising in the future? Should I invest in the gold Blue Eyes Dark Magician? I've already made a video on the maximum gold Blue Eyes and so forth, and how I think it's overrated as fuck. At least when it jumped to like 28, and then people were calling me an idiot. And since then, I think they've only lost money in a market where everything was up. So good for them. But could it rise? Maybe. Would I invest in it? No. French cards have the nicest names. I don't know. I kind of cringe when I read French Yu-Gi-Oh cards With that being said, I have French Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like, wait, here we have a Dragon Armée des Ténèbres right here, French Dark Arm Dragon. So like, but it's still kind of cringe to me. I don't know. Are there collectors out there that collectively every different copy of Blue Eyes? Probably. Waiting on 263 cards with graded gem. Yeah, that's just the case for all these value sub middlemen. How much would you value a PSA 10 Ghost Rare Blue Eyes White Dragon currently? Haunted Mine. No idea. Just check eBay last sold. Would you give up music as business if your YouTube channel grows way bigger and you would make more money? No. And also, I highly doubt it. My channel would have to grow to quite some levels to outgrow Solemn Tones. But hey, once I have 5 million subs, maybe my opinion changes. Yeah, it's not in the same league. It's not even nah. It's not realistic whatsoever. And also I prefer, how do I say this? I prefer creating products that actually have impact in the world far more than talking about my fun collectibles. Um like when you read negative comments from people who do absolutely fuck all with their life on like videos you make, and you're like, there's nothing you can say to them that will stop them from being that way, because they are probably dealing with a very bad time and so forth. And so there's nothing you can do to impact their lives properly, but they will not stop trying to impact yours negatively. Whereas when you run a business that actually makes products that help people, like the amount of positivity you get from that versus the positivity you get from making content, it's just different. Like, I'm sure as a content creator, you still create positivity, but I don't know, it feels more fleeting. Like your impact feels more fleeting. But maybe that's just me, misreading that. But I don't know. I just get way more um damn, how do you say that? Um I forgot the English word and also the Dutch one, but how you feel like you did something that mattered. That word, I get way more out of the creation of stuff with Solemn Tones than out of making videos on a hobby, even though I love that hobby. Um, where can I see you shred the bass guitar? Nowhere. But on my YouTube channel, Maxim Solemn, you can watch me shred the guitar and you can hear me scream. Uh, congrats on finding a suitor for the Dark Magician Girl PSA 10. Thank you. Just came into the stream. What do you think is a fair price for a raw near mint light play DMG? No idea. Just check eBay sold listings and go for there. Ever buy Yu-Gi-Oh on Shop Goodwill? No. How is the gains going? Have you been hitting legs at the gym? I have not been hitting legs. Gains have been awful. I have barely done gym the last month, which is really bad. I need to get back into it. Um, Probably right now I only bench like 100 kilos, which is ridiculous because I'm trying to get to 120. Outside of Yu-Gi-Oh, what's your favorite PlayStation game? PlayStation game. Dragon Ball Z Budokai 3. Yeah, or Need for Speed Underground 2. I'll send you this video clip when you reach 5 million subs on YouTube. Remember, everyone starts slow. I appreciate the confidence, but I don't think Yu-Gi-Oh finance collecting is big enough for that type of reach. What up, Solo? Miss you posting every day. Yeah, me too. You're intelligent as fuck, man. Smart guy. Appreciate it, but I'm not sure what trigger to comment. Satisfaction? Satisfaction is not the word. The word is like purpose. No, it's something else. Inspired? Maybe? I don't know. What do you think about the recent 4.5K sale on a PSA 10 Unlimited SDK Blue Eyes? Good for them. I would not pay anything for an Unlim SDK because there's just so many out there. They're all damaged to shit, but there's so many out there. My man's a chicken leg kind of guy. I don't think so. I think I've got pretty good calves, but can you can you like I don't know, like that's not too bad. I don't know. Fulfilled, yeah, that's the word. Fulfilled. But no, my legs were actually pretty strong. Like I could leg press 220 kilo without any like build up. Like I would walk into the gym without having ever trained legs, do 180 one week, 200 the next, and 220 the week after, like without any care. Um, but again, like I could go higher if I actually trained it. Um, can see you working alongside Team APS one day. We actually did a video together, but Team APS is awesome. What's your squat PR? I don't do legs, so I don't have a proper PR. When I like casually tried it, I my one rep max was 110, but that's like low. But I never do it, so obviously it's gonna be low. Um, I recommend just getting a Peloton legs for days over here. Oh no, I just don't like any cardio whatsoever. What you have to absolutely do if ever come to Japan, concretely Akihabara. I've been to Akihabara twice already because in 2018 I qualified for the World Championship of Cardfight Vanguard by winning nationals. So I was paid a trip, then I went to Akihabara for that. And then the year after, I had other friends qualifying, so I went as well. So I've been there twice. I'm going again next year because my girlfriend got this grant for school for her masters. So I'm gonna go for a third time normally next year. Do you think it's worth buying a crappy first edition Dark Magician Girl? Can't afford a minty one, but just want one. Investment wise, no. Like I talked about before, it has no real rarity. It only has condition rarity. But if it's like beat to shit, it doesn't have condition rarity. But if you like the card, you can still buy it because it's a cool card. Like I sold my PSA 10 of Dark Magician Girl, still cry, but God, that was a beautiful card. Anyway, but I will probably buy back like a weaker grade someday because I really want to own a copy again. But I am fully aware that it's a stupid financial decision. So that's just basically the trade-off you make. Like when you buy something that's like a tier 7 collectible, be aware it's a stupid financial decision, but that's totally okay if you like the card. First at DMG crappy or unlimited DMG mint? Well, Magician's Force was never reprinted, so I would go for Unlim, but be very aware that it could get reprinted and then you're fucked. So then I would actually go for First Ed. What does your girlfriend think about your love of cardboard? My wife rolls her eyes and walks away. She can roll her eyes, but that Tesla don't lie. Hey, no, no, she doesn't care. She's just happy that something makes me happy. Like beyond her. Okay, that sounded awful. There's a lot of things making me happy, but yeah, no. Like we both have weird interests. Like I like playing cards. She likes knitting and crocheting, and we're both basically nerds. Uh, like we'll just sit inside, and that's our thing. So it works out great. Hi Solemn, love your vids. Thank you so much. In your opinion, is the ROA collector rare more valuable due to playability or collectability? What is ROA? I don't know ROA. Why haven't you been posting on YouTube lately? Is it because of hobby slowing down in general? No, like I said, I've just been working on Solemn Tones. Like, again, me, I'm gonna take over the world, gonna sit on a T-Rex, take over Germany, blast metalcore out of big speakers, and then the T-Rex breathes fire. So in order to do that, Solemn Tones is more important. But no, I still enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's not necessarily because of hobby slowing down. No, I do have to say there's definitely gonna be less videos when the hobby is slow because there's just less news. Like I can't talk about all-time high on Red Eyes or whatever when there was no all-time high. And like all-time low, that's not happening either. So like we're in this weird, some stuff is dipping, some stuff is sideways, and it's like, yeah, okay, so nothing new is really happening. I also feel like a lot of sets from the modern end haven't been as exciting anymore from a collector standpoint. Like there's a lot of cool sets for players. Like I'm very happy about the 2021 tins with all the reprints. I'm happy about droplets getting it's whatever the fuck droplets is not in the tins, right? But droplets got its other reprint. But then in the tins you have triple tactics and so forth. So I'm happy about that as a player. But as a collector, I'm not particularly excited for King's Court. Like even though you have like the cool kings, queens, whatever the fuck in there, I don't know. Nothing has been as hype anymore to me as Maximum Gold and Ghost from the Past, and Toon Chaos. Um, Do you have an educational background in finance? Yes and no. So, after going to high school, where I followed Latin and math and sciences, I went to university for economics and finance, and I dropped out after 8 months. And then I went to um, not university, but college for media and entertainment business, and then I dropped out after 2 years and a half or something like that because I started Solemn Tones, and they didn't want to let me, you know, how do I say this? Like there were certain things that I wanted from them in order to better focus on my business that they didn't want to give. And so I was like, fine, then I'll just drop out and to fully focus on Solemn Tones. So I never finished an educational background in finance, but I have at one point followed one. Um, have you ever been to Comic Con? No, and it's not a thing in Europe. We have like other types of cons, though. I have been to like a Weeb Con multiple times, made in Asia, it's called. Um, and I'd say that not in a derogatory way. I'll carry the Weeb banner proudly. I'm trying to assemble an old school card collection. IOC first at Chaos, PTT, and Dark Armed. Where is the best place to buy a non-graded card? There is no best place. They're all beat to shit. TCG Player, eBay. If there was a magical place where you could buy non-graded cards in good conditions and it's all fun and games, then it would stop existing. In Germany, we call people like you Ehrenmann. If you know what that means, it's way funnier. I'm Ehren sounds like Ehr, which means honor, and Mann is man. Is it honor man? I don't know. I'm not sure. Are there any low-priced cards in particular you advise to invest in for potential future growth in price? Again, that's the type of question I'll just never answer. Like I'm not gonna tell people, oh, go buy this Necroface right now. It's gonna stonk any day now. Like no, I'm just not into that. Um, buy what you like. And my channel has so much fucking info on my beliefs on this market that it should be enough to guide you. And if you're not willing to watch the hours, then I can't help you anyway, because you do have to put in a shit ton of hours in order to understand this market and many other markets. Um, and just listening to some YouTuber to buy something, like listening to a YouTuber for financial advice and stock picks, you're gonna lose. You're gonna lose every fucking time because there's always an ulterior motive. If some crypto YouTuber tells you something is gonna moon, he already bought it or he's being paid to shill it. If some guy on YouTube is telling you to invest in some stock, he either has some membership platform where you can subscribe. And also, I'm already seeing like numbers of viewers drop as I'm saying this. And it's sad because I really don't care, but you should. But like, if you're listening to stock picks and crypto picks and so forth, Beyond entertainment, just be very aware that you're probably going to get dunked on. You are providing the liquidity for people to get out. That's all I can say, and that's also why I don't tell people like specifically what to buy, because it's always going to like there's always some ulterior motive. Um, do you feel like there's a huge divide in Yu-Gi-Oh players and Yu-Gi-Oh collectors? I think so. They almost don't want to associate with each other, like meta players with Duel Links players. I don't think so. I actually think Yu-Gi-Oh is one of the games where you have that the least, because most of the like of the Yu-Gi-Oh collectors want completely different cards and completely different product. So like where in Magic, people hoarding beta power are actively fucking over legacy and vintage formats, us hoarding Mystical Elf does fucking nothing to the game. So no, I actually think the divide isn't there. Like they're different people for sure. Someone who's playing the game isn't the same as someone who's hoarding red eyes, blue eyes, and whatever the hell. But but I don't think there's like any antagonistic feelings towards them. ROA reinforcement of the army. Oh, I like reinforcement of the army. I always thought it was Rhoda though. I always read it as Rhoda. Um, and I also forgot the question. I'm sorry. Buy high, sell low. Yeah, exactly. I dropped a like on the stream. Thank you so much. Thank you for your honesty about investing. Yeah, I mean, I just understand how it can be exciting for someone to say, "Oh, go buy this," and then you click and you think, "Oh, yeah, someone else is saying the same thing as me. This is gonna go so great." But every single time I see this shit happening, and I see people getting fucking destroyed, and I don't want to be part of that. I feel like I gained so much Yu-Gi-Oh knowledge in past 2 years since coming back to collecting than what I learned from Yu-Gi-Oh in past 15 years. I think from collecting you don't really learn much about the game, but you do learn a lot about the history. Personally, I buy the market. Okay. Hello, Solemn. What's your favorite non-Stonks Dark Magician Girl card? Love the streams. Lost Art. Um, I think investing in Lost Art is risky because they're plentiful, but I really like the art. Um, you're absolutely correct. I don't trust any of those crypto and stock YouTubers. It's very wrong. They have no honor. I mean, I don't know about that. Like, there's also good YouTubers in stocks and crypto who really just want to give info, but there's also a lot of shilling going on, and I think that's very dangerous. Buy the cards you like, and if they go up in value, good. If they don't, you've still got a collection you enjoy. Yeah, exactly. As long as you didn't acquire that collection by still spending more than you can actually afford. That's why you got to do your own research rather than just listening to other people's investment tips. Yes, exactly. I want to grade my cards, but I also like to have a binder. Is there a way to combine things instead of starting two different collections? No. Unless there's a binder for graded cards. Does that exist? Old common, but yeah, that view is why I set the above apology to the most extent when you compared working here to tones. I've done the opposite with spending time on Yu-Gi-Oh! Over my art this year. Oh, I see. I mean, it's fine, whatever you want to do, right? Like, if you forced yourself to work on art and you really wanted to work on Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, and collect and so forth, I don't think the art you would have made would have been very good because it would be forced. So, if spending time on Yu-Gi-Oh! Made you happy, maybe you'll make better art. Hi, Solom. I know this is a Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream, but what is needed for Vanguard to become well known enough where people would say top 4 instead of top 3? I don't think that's going to happen because the other three are household names for kids or used to be kids. And Yugi and Vanguard was instantly played by teens, young teens. And actually, though, Magic kind of was started by teens. So maybe there is potential, but I don't know. It just never had that pop culture impact. And so while I think Vanguard is a great game and is actually doing really well right now since Mori took over and so forth, I do think it'll grow more. but I don't think it will reach the same status. That being said, it's possible that it gets a collector's market. I own a lot of like old school Vanguard cards because I do believe one day there could be a collector's market. But I also realize that it's super risky and, it's a big what if. Do you think the Rhoda Collector Rare has more value in playability or collectability? Playability. Been thinking about a Furious Wolf goat-like tattoo of the Abra line with some Baphomet Alakazam. That's very specific. How can I find a BGS 10 DDS Blue Eyes? You can't. I think there's like what? A couple copies? I doubt you'll randomly find it. What do you think about max rarity goat cards? You think it's overpriced? Um, Probably, but they can stay overpriced for very long and can become more overpriced. I like goat and I want to max out my decks, so I get it. What is your favorite card? It's in constant flux. One day it's SDK Blue Eyes, the next is Shonen Jump Crush card, then it's Cyber End, then it's Cyberstein, then it's Blue Eyes 2, and then it goes back to Crush card, so it's constantly changing. I have a sealed Mystic Fighters booster box. Is it better to open it for a chance to get valuable cards or keeping it sealed? Opening is never gonna be a profitable on average. I would keep it sealed or sell it or whatever. What about Force of Will? Do you think it's okay? Or Force of Will was dying. And then it got like the slightest resurgence, I think, because of collectible card craze as a whole the past year. But Force of Will was on its deathbed until then. So I would be very wary of anything that was dying before this. Because anything will live now. It's the same with Dragon Ball Super, actually. That game was fucking just dying. And like I watch all these like tier 2 games a lot because I play Vanguard and they're like kind of competing with it. So, Digimon was doing really well now because you had its launch and all the hype and of course also the collectible card craze. DBS was on life support until you had the whole euphoria. So I would be very, very careful around any game that was in that category. Buddy Fight was a good example, it's done. Buddy Fight is gone. So yeah, Force of Will, extra risky, let's say. Other than Yu-Gi-Oh, what's your second favorite TCG? I mean, Vanguard's actually my favorite TCG when it comes to playing. When it comes to collecting, Yu-Gi-Oh wins. It's not even close. But and then when it comes to collecting, Vanguard would be the second. But playing Vanguard wins. Like playing modern Yu-Gi-Oh just isn't that fucking fun, in my opinion. I can have like I can build some really jank shit. I can enjoy myself for a few games, and then I'm like, wow, this ain't for me. So, what's a good booster box to buy for a noob who wants to get into collecting? Uh, if you just mean enjoy an opening experience, probably those Korean boxes, like the Korean LOB, the Korean Magic Ruler, the Korean, like, there's a few like Korean reprints essentially, and they're just super fun. They're a good experience. They're really cheap, like they're $20 or something like that. If I were to start getting into collecting again and opening some fun product, that would be it. But you would get fucked financially. It's not worth anything. Which countries did you already visit? Which ones did you like the most? I visited, holy fuck. I visited America, California, and New York specifically. New York twice. France, Germany, Spain, the UK, Italy, Switzerland, Luxembourg, Japan, the Netherlands. Is that it? I don't know. I'm probably missing some. Monaco. Is that it? Might be. That might be it. Japan was my favorite. Duel Links, would you try it? No, I get way too addicted to mobile games. I know myself. Thoughts on the Egyptian god structure decks? They're fine for a casual to have casual fun playing, but that's it. I watch your vids on 2x. Now it feels weird hearing your voice in normal speed. Why do you watch my vids on 2x? Like, I already cut out all my breaths, which is crazy. Like, the every I cut out. All the cut out. Every silence cut out. So, like, and I talk relatively fast when I'm like certain of a subject. So why would you ever watch me on 2x? That must be awful. Holy hell. I personally have pivoted from graded cards to speculating on pre-sale modern cases. If in a year or two I can sell for double MSRP, it's a win. I think that can be smart, but only on the winning products. And it would have to be like flip really in the short term, as in like a year or two, because I think there's diminishing returns on some of these. But okay. Trying to collect sealed products, which sets do you think I should start buying? I don't know. I like the Brothers of Legend, whatever the fuck thing, because Karibo is cute. You have a base there. I would like to hear how you play it. I suck. Uh, this is a Dingwall. Was that exciting for you? I'm so American that I don't believe you can visit America. Well, what do you think about Edison format? I don't even know what it is. How did you like New York? I like the energy, like very hustle centric. You rock, thanks. Yeah, I tried very hard there. So I hope this was interesting. I'm gonna end it here. It's already past midnight. Um, can't believe I walked just in time to hear you play Wonderwall. You also just walked in time to watch the stream, and so yeah. Thanks everyone. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and whatever the fuck. And I will see you soon. Ciao.